Hi everyone, welcome back to Economics by Arsha, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about market equilibrium. So in economics, whenever we are drawing graphs to illustrate different markets for different goods, such as the market for oranges or the market for hats, we have to draw both the supply and the demand curve to understand the nature of the market. And more specifically, we look at the interaction between the supply and the demand curve. So where the supply and the demand curve intersect is known as the market equilibrium. This is how the market price is decided, or equilibrium price, and most often at the equilibrium price, an equilibrium quantity of the good is sold. Now there might be consumers who are willing to pay more, but that is following the law of demand, fewer consumers, versus consumers who are willing to pay less, which is more consumers. As for supply, there would be fewer producers willing to sell at a lower price, and more producers who are willing to sell at a higher price. That is why, to ensure that the consumer and the producer are both gaining from this economic transaction, a market equilibrium is established. Now, I'm going to get into some practice problems, but to ensure that you're able to answer them properly, I suggest that you watch my previous videos on the determinants of supply and demand just to quickly review your concepts. So, let's get started. Illustrate the effect of an improvement in technology on the market for iPhones. So below we have a graph, which is the market for iPhones, and we have the supply and the demand curve. And where the two intersect is known as the market equilibrium. And here we have the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. So if there is an improvement in technology, this would mean that there is an improvement in the efficiency of production for iPhones. Therefore, there would be an increase in supply of iPhones. So this would be illustrated by a shift of the supply curve to the right, and we can show this with an arrow. Now, a shift of the supply curve to the right would mean that there is now a new market equilibrium, because there is now a different supply curve at which the market is operating. So to figure out the new market equilibrium, we just have to look at the intersection point of the new supply curve and the original demand curve. So this would be here, and this leaves us with a new equilibrium price at PE1 and a new equilibrium quantity at QE1. Now if you had to write this out as a written answer, you could simply say, an improvement in technology would result in an increase in supply, illustrated by the shift of the supply curve to the right, ceteris paribus. As the state of technology improves, production of iPhones would become more efficient, thus the increase in supply. This would result in a new market equilibrium, where QE1 iPhones are now sold at a price of PE1. Let's try another practice problem. Illustrate the effect of COVID-19 on the demand for hand sanitizers. First, let me add a graph title, market for sanitizers. Okay. And here we have the supply curve and the demand curve plotted. So this gives us the market equilibrium with PE and QE. Now, if there is a spread of COVID-19, the demand for hand sanitizers is likely to increase because individuals would want to ensure that they remain hygienic to prevent the spread of the virus. So this would result in a shift of the demand curve to the right, and we can even show this with an arrow. And this would result in a new market equilibrium because we are not operating in a market with a new demand curve. And in order to find this market equilibrium, we just have to look at the intersection point of the new demand curve and the original supply curve. So that would be here. And this gives us a new equilibrium price at PE1 and a new equilibrium quantity at QE1. Now, if you had to give a written answer, you could simply say, the spread of the COVID-19 virus would result in an increase in demand for hand sanitizers, illustrated by the shift of the demand curve to the right, ceteris paribus. The spread of the virus would result in individuals becoming more conscious about their hygiene, and they are likely to purchase a greater quantity of hand sanitizers. This would result in the quantity bought of the sanitizers increasing to QE1, and the price at which they are being sold to increase up to PE1. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment if you guys have any questions and I will be sure to answer. Leave a like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you know when I've posted my next video. Bye!